Good evening, Yonkers. It is Freddie Vasquez with Basement Politics Unfiltered. Happy Saturday. Tonight, I want to talk about Roe versus Wade. Are women in danger? If Roe versus Wade is overturned, will women be in danger? Will women die? Well, that's according to some experts on Yahoo News. Also, I want to talk about the YMA Idol and lovely Yonkers City Council. Join me. I'm Freddie Vasquez. This is Basement Politics Unfiltered. Good evening, folks. I'm Freddie Vasquez. This is Basement Politics Unfiltered. Tonight, Roe versus Wade. Is it going to be dangerous for women if it is overturned? As some people are saying. Will some women die? That's what's being put out there. Also, I want to talk about the city council. And are some businesses and business owners receiving preferred treatment while others are simply harassed? Good evening, folks. I'm Freddie Vasquez. This is Basement Politics Unfiltered. I want to talk about Roe versus Wade again and the abortion debate that's all over the news, all over social media, everywhere. People are talking about it. People are very impassioned and emotional about it. Some individuals are angry, and some are in support of the possibility that the landmark decision may get overturned. I spoke about it recently, actually, in a podcast prior to this today, but I want to talk about it again because been getting a lot of attention, right? If you're like me, you don't watch television much, so I didn't really even know about it too very recently, so I'm kind of getting on it late. But I see that a lot of people are really upset, a lot of protesting going on. People are being even offensive, I see on Facebook and commenting and stuff like that. And we've gotten to a point where we can't even have civil discourse anymore. People just want to call each other stupid and other things. Anyway, local news. You know what? I'm not even going to start with Roe versus Wade. Should I start with Roe versus Wade? Yeah, anyway, I'll start there. Good afternoon, folks. Roe v. Wade is on the minds of many Americans after a leaked document indicated that the 1973 landmark Supreme Court decision could be overturned. On Facebook, people are talking, some in support of the ruling being overturned, while many are furious, blaming Trump and his supporters, or at least people who support the decision being overturned, because not all are Trump supporters, just like not all who supported Bill Clinton sexually manipulated interns, right, in their offices. While all people have a right to their opinion, right, are many based on fear and falsehoods. Joe Biden said overturning Roe v. Wade would put the marriage rights at risk, the right to get married at risk. I'm not sure how. Am I missing certain correlation between, abortion and marriages? But according to Joe Biden, if Roe v. Wade is overturned, then the right to get married is in jeopardy. Anyway, and other people are saying that our daughters, I read a comment, they said our daughters are going to be in danger if Roe v. Wade is overturned. And I asked the person, how so? I have a 10-year-old daughter. Is there something that I should know in the event that it is overturned and I can protect her? But a lot of elected officials, they're jumping on this as a hot topic issue. So, of course, campaign season, election season coming up, this is something that they can use to campaign on, right? Depending on what the majority of people want, that's where they're going to go. But it's very irresponsible of elected officials like Joe Biden and others I've seen on Facebook, local officials, to make such statements, right? It's no different than statements Trump made, and people were upset about that, right? So I think people, especially elected officials, should watch what they say because they influence people. They influence people, and I can see the influence when people comment. People are commenting just based on what they're hearing and repeating it to other people. So it's no surprise that you'll have people make comments like, if Roe v. Wade is overturned, our daughters are in danger. I replied to one comment of a woman saying that, and I asked for clarity. Like I said, how? She gave no answer. She never responded to me. And because she had no answer, how will all daughters be in danger if Roe v. Wade is overturned? I'm not in support or against it. I'm just trying to understand it, right? The mother was obviously influenced by fear mongering taking place in our media every day. Really, how will our daughters be in danger? Then today I saw an article in Yahoo News with the headline, "Experts warn women will die if Roe v. Wade is overturned." Well, that definitely caught my attention. So I clicked on it and I started to read the article. And within the first 5 words, I knew that it could possibly be just propaganda, right? And why? Because the first few words started like this: leading medical journal, The Lancet, right, says women will die if Roe v. Wade is overturned. Well, I don't know if any of you guys remember, or ladies too, remember the Lancet Journal. And in fact, I actually got into it with a high school friend of mine who is in Texas now. She is an attorney, and at one point, I believe, worked for Planned Parenthood, very liberal. And she was upset because I didn't necessarily buy into the whole COVID pandemic thing when it first, was being announced and talked about and stuff like that. And she said, "Well, I've read medical journals, and medical journals are whatever they put in there. That's what it is, and that's the truth. And you can't disagree or dispute, medical journals, right? Because they're peer reviewed, right? And all the brainiacs, review it." However, it came to be fact that the Lancet Journal actually was mistaken, and they actually put an article in the or whatever you call those things in the Lancet Journal, and regarding the COVID vaccine. I'm sorry, regarding COVID. It was the reason why the FDA actually issued the EUA, the emergency authorization use. It was based on an article, or papers, I should say, that were published in the Lancet Journal. And eventually it came out that those papers were false. They were not true. The papers were indicating that COVID-19, or the coronavirus, had been isolated, meaning that it's real because they isolated it. They identified it, but they actually had not been identified. But that did not stop the FDA, or that did not cause the FDA or lead the FDA to then retract their EUA. They kept it right on, and they kept giving the shots to people, even though. So the medical journals are flawed. They are flawed. And that's why it is important that we do our own research, just like we do our own research here when it comes to abortion or any other matter pertaining to our country, our society, our government, anything. Do your own research. Do your own research, right? So another interesting thing that I want to mention, now that I'm talking about the Roe v. Wade, one of the big one of the sayings is that they say, "My body, my choice," right? My body, my choice. Cool, cool with me. But many of the people who are now saying "my body, my choice" now, when it comes to Roe v. Wade possibly being overturned, are the same people who were forcing others or supporting the involuntary vaccination of individuals, right? People were either, people having to make a choice, either lose your job or get vaccinated. And many people were in support of that. "Oh, you need to get vaccinated. You have to better get vaccinated." But whatever happened to "my body, my choice"? So it's very hypocritical for people to force you to get a vaccination, but say it's not okay to tell someone they can't, or make it illegal to get an abortion. And again, I'm not in support of or against. I'm just making the point. I'm just making that point. So anyway, moving on, I do want to talk a little bit about Roe v. Wade. What is Roe v. Wade? People who may not know what it is, it's a 1973 Supreme Court decision that allowed for abortions to be legal. It said the state could not make it illegal, and they had to give the woman the right to choose. as long as she was within a certain amount of time. I believe it was 24 weeks, but they really don't give actually an amount of time. They give it's a period, or if they say if the baby is able to survive outside the womb, then it's too late. That was according to 1973 Roe v. Wade. They say. Anyway, I do want to talk about who Roe v. Wade is actually, and actually it was a pseudonym. Roe was a pseudonym for a woman in Texas who was not allowed, to get an abortion in Texas, so she took it to the Supreme Court. She was a 22-year-old who had gotten pregnant 3 times. She was unmarried. When I read that, I just really quick, 3 times you got pregnant, you're 22, you're unmarried. I mean, where do we, put a little bit of responsibility on the person and say, you got to make a different decision on the 4th time, right? Make a different decision. I'm just saying. Anyway, really quick, if you're like me, you don't watch much TV, you didn't really know about this Roe v. Wade thing being overturned till very recently, but you may have heard that the Supreme Court is considering overturning the ruling in the now famous Roe v. Wade, where the Supreme Court ruled that the Constitution protected a woman's right to choose whether or not to have an abortion back in 1973. It came as a result of a 22-year-old unmarried woman using Roe as a pseudonym from Texas who had become pregnant 3 times. Texas would not allow her to have an abortion, so she would go on to fight this in the Supreme Court. Although, interesting fact or side note, the 3rd pregnancy she actually went through with it and gave the baby up for adoption. Right. So I just thought that was interesting. She didn't want to do it the 3rd time. Anyway, the ruling, which gave way for states like New York to legalize abortion, and other states, made it so that it would be illegal only if the baby was able to survive outside the womb. But anytime before that, it should be legal, and no state had the right to deny a woman abortion. Tonight, I want to talk about the 1973 decision, highlight both sides of the argument, and discuss what will it mean if the Supreme Court overturns Roe v. Wade. Will women die? Will our daughters be in danger? Why is the Supreme Court now looking to overturn Roe v. Wade after 49 years, almost 50 years, and many failed attempts? So this is not the first time that this has come up. In fact, believe it or not, if you don't know, Joe Biden was one of the supporters of having it overturned in the past, just in case you didn't know that, right? So Joe Biden supported overturning Roe v. Wade in the past. Now he's against it, and he says that if it's overturned, it could threaten the right to get married. That's what he says. The 14th Amendment, which provides all Americans with a fundamental right to privacy, right? That's what the Supreme Court argued. It further argued that the right is not absolute and must be balanced against the government's interest in protecting women's health and protecting prenatal life. Remember, that's important. Prenatal life, right? It's clear what protecting women's health means, but what is prenatal life? According to Online Medical Dictionary, prenatal life is the interval of life between conception and birth. In humans, usually divided into embryonic and fetal periods, which leads us to the most debated question. When does a person become a person? When does the fetus or the seed or whatever you want to call it become a person? Meaning, when is it alive? Is it a human from conception? Or is there a period when it's not a human, not alive, that it's developing into a human? So that's a big argument because it gets a little complex. There are people who support abortion, but then they have these like stipulations, right? I support it up until this point, or I support it up until that point, right? So it depends who you are, that will tell how you support it, right? Depends what your belief is. So I want to go over some of those different cycles, right? So at what point during prenatal life is a fetus, well, a life? At what point? That depends on who you ask. But it is not a life if they call this period. I mean, isn't it not? Is it not a life? I should say, is it not a life? If they call it prenatal life, the word life is in there. Is it just not a life? The prenatal life is the period from conception to just before it's born. So that entire time is a life, right? I don't know. I'm just saying. That's just my thinking. But the answer is no for many Americans who support a woman's right to choose. However, not all who support a woman's right to choose will agree on when a fetus becomes a person during prenatal development, and therefore disagree on how late a woman should be allowed to have an abortion. According to the 1973 Roe v. Wade case, the Supreme Court of the United States ruled that the states could not ban abortion before the point of viability. But what does that mean exactly? A child becomes viable when the child can survive outside the womb. Each baby is different, but this can range from 21 to 24 weeks. Texas, the state Roe v. Wade, or the case originated out of, right, and Oklahoma also now ban abortion after fetal cardiac activity can be detected, which is around 6 weeks. 16 states ban abortion at 20 weeks. 4 states ban abortion at 24 weeks of pregnancy, including Florida, which is a 15-week abortion ban, which has a 15-week abortion ban set to take effect in July. 20 states ban abortion at the point of fetal viability, which doesn't have a clear scientific definition. It doesn't, because I try to look it up and you get different times. One says 21 to 24 weeks, another one is 24 to 28, right? So it varies. According to Yahoo News, although they go on to say what I said earlier, that viability is when a baby can survive outside the womb. However, Yahoo had that point between 24 and 28 weeks, different from another website, medical website. That breaks down the various stages of prenatal life that are often debated. I want to break that down. At which point does a fetus again becomes a person? I mentioned the point of viability, but then some say it should be up to when they have brainwave activity, which is at 40 days. So that's right at like pretty much right away, right? 40 days. Some argue it should be up to a woman's second trimester, the 4th month. Some say there is a movement, which, that like it should be up until the point where the baby starts to move, when movement occurs between 13 to 16 weeks. And others say when the child becomes sentient, whatever that, or reacts to the outside stimuli. However, this is unreliable because, not all babies will react to outside stimuli. So, you can't really judge it based on that. If you support abortion, when do you believe it should be allowed, and at what point it should not be allowed? Right? When do you guys? If you want to comment, I'd love to know. What do you think? The possible potential of it being overturned was leaked out. Yeah, there was a document that was leaked of the potential of it being overturned by the Supreme Court. And so ever since then, people have been, protesting, demanding that not happen. Some people have been protesting in front of some of the Supreme Court justices' homes. Right. And if and again, I just like to compare because these are individuals who are liberals, Democrats. And if, Republicans did that, it would be a big thing. I'm not Republican. I'm just saying, I like to just be unbiased, be fair. So anyway, I want to move on. So, I mean, honestly, without the child being fully developed, can we really differentiate? I mean, if the child, can you really tell? If it's alive at conception, is it not alive at conception? What's the difference? What's the difference? I don't know. It's not a life. Why is, I don't know. I don't get it. I don't see how they can say, oh, it's not a life yet. Not until there's brainwave activities, or not until there's movement, or reacts with the outside stimuli. Personally, me, I think that it's at conception. And I'm going to tell you why. I'll tell you a quick story. My son, I knew when my son was conceived. I knew the date. I knew the date. I called it, and I don't know how to tell the story without divulging too much information, but my birthday is in April. The day after my birthday, my wife and I, we went out. We went out. We did what we do, well, husband and wife thing, and I knew that she got pregnant. I knew that night she got pregnant. I told her that. I said, "You got pregnant," and she said, "How you?" I said, "I don't know. I just knew she had. It was a feeling that just came over me that I knew that I had put a child in her, and I knew it was going to be a boy. Like I just had this overwhelming feeling down that day. So then we go to the doctor, and sure enough, that was the date of conception. I was 100% right, and it was a boy. He was a boy. He was a boy. So I say that to say, if I felt that, then there's got to be some life, right? There's got to be some connection that you already have. I know that's strange, but I felt it. I just knew it. Like it was something there that I was being serious, and I just had to tell her that. I said, I think you got pregnant there. I don't know. It's something about it. You're pregnant. And sure enough, she was pregnant. And sure enough, it was my boy. And I said that, so is that a connection? Is that a very real life connection? Because I know the moms always get like, the dads connect too. We connect too. Okay. The moms always get more like they love them more or something. I love my kids just as much as my wife, right? The judges always give them to the moms in the divorce courses, in the cases or whatever, So I don't know. That's the big debate. When is a fetus a person? When is it alive? When is it a human? Some people say from conception, so it should never be done. Abortion should be completely illegal. Others say not until there's brainwave or the baby or the point of viability and when it can survive outside the womb. Anyway, recently a document, like William said, they're drafted by Justice Samuel Alito, one of the justices or judges deciding the case of Dobbs versus Jackson, Women's Health, a case challenging Mississippi's 2018 15-week abortion ban was leaked, including that of SCOTUS, indicating, I said, that SCOTUS was going to overturn the landmark decision that prevented a ban or bans on abortion prior to the point of viability. Again, which as I mentioned, and that can be from 21 weeks to 24 weeks or 24 weeks to 28 weeks, depending on your source. As a result, America is once again divided, chaotic, and lost. The result of this leak, where America is divided once again, as if we needed anything else to divide us. We have a pandemic. We have Ukraine. We have politicians. Everything's divided us. Everywhere you look, someone's talking about it or posting and commenting about it. Once again, like we've seen time and time before, Americans are debating at best, at worst, at odds, standing firm on their belief, just as many were doing during the pandemic. You had the lockdown folks, and then you had the anti-mask folks, and then you had the mask folks, the pro-experimental injection folks, and the sensible folks, the anti-experimental injection folks, who didn't want to have the gene-modifying injection. And they were all at odds, at each other's throat, on social media, in person. Friends were no longer friends. Family members stopped talking, and here we are again, another issue that has us once again divided, right? And then it has politicians and political wannabes all jumping on a hot button topic, once again fanning the flames of division while America is silently invaded. That's a whole nother topic for a whole nother day. First, New Yorkers, chill. Okay, I want to say to New Yorkers, chill, because I saw some elected officials, or those who want to be elected officials, those looking to get elected, jumping on this and creating this big thing so they can try and get support and get people to say, yeah, man, I like the way you think. I'm going to vote for you. But in reality, it's all BS, because New York is never going to ban abortion. New York is super liberal. New York has always been a Democrat for the most part, at least as I can remember. And they're not going to, Kathy Hochul is not going to ban abortion here in New York. So for the elected officials here in New York, here in the city of Yonkers, County of Westchester, you guys, this is a moot point for you guys. It's a moot point. You don't have to say, I'm going to make sure that it's not going to get, unless you're representing people from other states like Texas, Oklahoma, this is not something that New Yorkers, I think, will have to worry about. But again, they love to use this as a political football, right? Kathy Hochul announced 35 million fund for abortion services. There you go. So she has no intentions or ideas of banning abortion here if it's overturned or changing it. In fact, she's spending money to fund abortion services such as security at abortion centers. Right? Why $35 million? $35 million that the state of New York does not have to fund abortion services such as security at abortion centers. I mean, is there possibilities of threats of people blowing these places up? If they do overturn it, those who are anti-abortion are going to be happy. I don't see why they would blow anything up. Right? Money, $35 million, money that New Yorkers do not have, that New York, I say, do not have. So why? Why would there be a need for security when those that oppose it, it being, oppose abortion, I should say, would be happy if it's overturned? They're not going to go out and blow anything up, right? It's just more money being spent, more money politicians take out of the taxpayers' bank account to pass down to their friends and other officials. That's how they do it. That's really what that's about, folks. That's really what it's about. All right. So that's what you're going to do. You're going to have people jump on it. You're going to have these elected officials or their buddies open up these security companies specifically for abortion centers and stuff like that. And then they're going to get the contracts. That's what it's all about, because there's no need for it. And New York doesn't have the money to spend. Right. So anyway, I wanted to give that's a landmark decision. It's almost 49 years ago. It's maybe possibly overturned. People are going crazy. Just want to see if there was any other facts that I left out. Politicians are utilizing it as a political football. I've seen some. I won't mention them. I don't want to blow them up. But I see you guys and ladies using this. This is a very real issue. And I told the story the last time I talked about this, about my personal experience with abortion. Not that I've, I had an abortion, my wife, and nothing, but I almost didn't make it. So for me, I don't want to judge. It's not coming from a judgmental place where I'm saying that, hey, you're wrong for that. What I'm saying is that someone like me, my mother, and she told me this, she was in a tough situation, right? And I've mentioned this before. My mother was heading off to prison while she was pregnant. And to have a child and you're heading off to prison, I mean, is that really going to work? I mean, so she considered strongly having an abortion. It was my dad who convinced her not to. He said, we could do this. I mean, I'm going to wait for you. She's the other way around, right? Isn't it the man waiting, the woman waiting for the man? But he said, we're going to make this work. I don't want you to. And he got her not to do it. He convinced her. And I'm here. And, I turned out, I like to think okay. I did okay for myself. I have a beautiful family. So I'm so happy for that. I'm glad that my dad, thank God he fought for me. I'm here because of him, and not to say anything bad about my mother. Listen, she's 21-year-old woman. She's not married. She's going to be incarcerated. She doesn't have any real support at all, other than my father at the time, who was in the Marines. What were her real options, right? I mean, that just seemed like the easy way out. Just, I can't. And why bring a baby into a situation like this? So I could understand where her mind was. So I'm not mad at her for it. I'm not upset. But what I want to highlight is the fact that she decided not to. She didn't do it. And I turned out okay. And I get it. People have different situations going on. Everyone is different. My mother was in jail. I spent the first 8 months of my life, as an infant in the nursery there at the prison. I stayed in there with her. They still do it. They still have a program there for the moms who are incarcerated and are pregnant, so they can, keep their child with them up to a year. And so I also want the women, I mentioned this before, who may be in this situation, to know that your child has a great chance still. has a great chance still. If I was able to do it, your child will do it. And so I just want people out there to think about that, think about it. I know it seems hard. I know it just seems like it's impossible, but consider giving the child the life, because you never know who that child will become. They can be something so amazing, so great one day, right? And I understand there's situations where it just has to be that way. It has to be that way. It's a situation where maybe the mother could risk her life giving birth, or the child is having some, deformities or something like that, where it's just not for the best to go through with the pregnancy. There are situations like that, and I get that. But if it's a matter of just you're young, you don't have the money, you're not married, just consider it. Just consider it. Because my mother was in jail, unmarried, young, and I turned out great. I did. Thank you. I'm glad. And I want to speak for those fetuses who can't talk. Give us the opportunity to try and turn out great. You know what I mean? So that's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. And I just think that we gotta, I also want to give this fact really quick. Statistically, women who are having an abortion more than likely are having their second abortion. So the majority of women having abortions are having their second or third one. That's a statistical fact. And the highest rate of the age range, the highest rate is I believe it's 18, 19 to I believe 24, 25. That age group is the highest, rate of abortions that come from that age group. And they more than likely are on their second and third abortion. So that's statistical facts in my research. So what that tells me is that majority of abortions are because people just made a mistake and weren't ready for a baby. And I understand things happen, but think about keeping the baby. It's going to be tough. It's not going to be easy. But if there's no unique circumstances, why you should not, then you're young, you don't have the money. I was unemployed when my daughter, when my wife was pregnant with my first child, I think. Yeah, it was tough, but you will make it, and I turned out good. So I just want to throw that fact out there, because based on that, statistically, the statistical facts, it seems like a lot of the abortions are because people are just making a mistake. They didn't, maybe the birth control didn't work, or the condom broke, or they was too drunk to put the condom on. So we got to take some responsibilities. Okay, also we have to think about what the decisions you make, and like I said before, also, the difference between people who achieve their goals in life and achieve what it is that they really want, and those who don't, is a matter of decisions. A lot of times it's a matter of decisions, making the right decision. And we're not always going to make right decisions, but try to make more right than wrong. So, and I say that because, I believe that we should, people should also have some ownership. We have to promote, as much as we're promoting and talking about abortion, I would like to hear people talking about marriage and waiting till you're married to have sex. I know that sounds corny. I people that like nowadays, like that sounds corny. I don't know why, but that's how it is nowadays. My wife, I don't know if she wanted me to tell this. My wife, look, my wife wanted to wait till she was married. And she didn't wait till she was married, but she waited several years. It was several years before my wife and I, made love. Okay. My wife probably gonna be mad, but she don't mind, because the point of my story is that I loved her so much that I didn't mind. So ladies, if you want to know whether a guy really loves you or not, or he just wants to get in your pants, make him wait. Make him wait. I waited. I was willing to wait as long as I had to. That's the reality of it. I told her I wasn't going to, but I would have. And I did. And I'm still here. because I really loved her and I wanted to be with her. And so, we need to promote that more, especially within the, young girls, nowadays, because they're bombarded with so much sexual images and, and adult topics now. Again, they're looking to introduce transgender sexual orientation to kindergarten kids. This is something Nader Sage, our New York State Assembly, the 90th district, the guy that sits right there in Getty Square, supports. Let's teach young kindergarten. So they're becoming more sexually active. There's too much sexualization, overly sexualizing kids, topics and images, content, and children's shows sometimes maybe it's too sexual. And, and I think we got to tone that down. I think we have to promote that. I know it sounds corny, but we need to promote that. You got to try to wait till you're married. Try to wait for the right guy. Make the guy wait. If he waits, then he cares about you. Because what happens is, if I can't wait, I see this a lot. I've seen this a lot. People just they get into the moment and then end up having a baby, and then they keep the baby. That's good, but what happens is that though they have this tumultuous relationship where the children are stuck in the middle. You know how many times I heard a dude say, "Yo, I hate my effing baby mama B. Hate that B. Hate that." Yeah, it's a lot of dudes, But at one point you loved her, right? And at one point you loved him. But the problem is you didn't really get to know each other. And so you decided to engage in something that's serious and permanent, but didn't know each other really, didn't have a serious relationship that you were hoping would be permanent. It was a moment thing. And now you have a lifetime thing. And you're upset about it, And so, we have to just promote this. I'm sorry. I had to say this because I'm from the hood and I see this so much time and time, so much. I'm like, and some of you, and look, some of you women now, they're women now. Us women, y'all made the mistake, right? When you were younger, you thought the guy that was hanging out was cool. You wanted the thugged out guy and that was on the block chilling, that skipped school. So you thought he was cool because of that. And what did he end up doing? You end up having a few kids with the guy, doesn't do much. You grow older, raising the kids by yourself, and then now you're trying to get the nerd guys. But they married. We married. Sorry. Sorry. I've had this happen. I've had, you made the decision. Now it's too late. I'm married now. You can't have the nerd guy. You can't have the guy that has the 9 to 5. That was the Poindexter. But so don't make a decision, ladies. And I tell my daughter this because the guy's cool and he got some cool sneakers, or he's the coolest guy in high school. Because a lot of times the coolest guy in high school, it just so happens, ends up the bum, in the neighborhood. Just how it happens. So ladies, think about that. Young girls, think about that. Make the guy wait. You want to know if he cares about you, if he loves you, if he truly means what he says, make him wait. You're not going to get this. I'm waiting till I'm married. So if you want to be with me and you really love me and care about me and this is worth it to you, then you're going to be right there waiting for me. And that's that. And see how he reacts. And if he's like me, he'll wait there, wait and wait. And young boys, we get, we feisty. We like, but I love my wife. I did, and I waited, and I, and I'm glad I did. It was worth it. It was worth it for her. Worth it for me. We have a beautiful family, beautiful kids. So and I don't always make the right decision, but that was just something for me coming up in a single family home, right? Not seeing my dad around, seeing broken homes all around me. Everybody. My friends' dads in jail or not around, on drugs. We all single family home. We don't eat at the table together each night. They don't come to school events. Yesterday with the YMA talking about school events, a lot of parents were there, and that was awesome. So great that a lot of parents were there, and I want to show that. But I didn't have parents. My mom didn't come to my baseball games. They don't come to our baseball games. We don't have these things. And so it was important for me to make sure that I provided that for my kids, that we could sit at the dining room table together. I asked them how their day was. I go to their events. I put them in gymnastics and whatever they want to do, dance. And I'm there and I'm supporting and I'm going to school events and I'm encouraging them to enter school talent shows like the YMA Idol that happened yesterday. A lot of talented kids at Yonkers Montessori, and a lot of parents showed up. So a lot of parents. Shout out to Mr. Solicito, Mike Solicito. He did this lettering. It looked awesome. It was really great. They did an amazing job yesterday. Those are the trophies there. Parents and other kids starting to fill in, but it was packed once the lights came down. It was a lot more kids. It was very nice. It's one of the students who performed, and and they did good. A lot of talent. A lot of parents were there. They were cheering, supporting the kids. And what's great about it is they that builds confidence. This is important. Stuff like this is important. And shout out to my wife. She put this together. She would do this at the school she worked at before. Just one of the many things she puts together at the school she worked at before and she wants to bring here to YMA. And shout out to all the administrators, teachers, and staff who helped and participated and helped her bring this to life. Everybody said it was amazing. Hadn't seen nothing like that before. And it builds confidence in the kids. It gives them, this belief that they can do it. And even if, there's a possibility of failing, they're still gonna try. And they went up there and everybody cheered for each one of the students. My wife did an amazing job. She was the host. She was the Ryan Seacrest. She was great at, supporting kids, even when they kind of messed up a little bit and maybe one or two times. There were a couple, but she kept them going. And that builds, just like I said, confidence, gives them this boost that they can go out and conquer the world. And they need more stuff like this. And this is what we need to be talking about. And this is why it's important to talk to kids about waiting. I mean, we hear abortion, we talk about that all the time, and but why don't we ever talk about telling kids to wait? Go to college or focus on a career. What do you want to do in life? And focus on that. Nowadays, these boyfriend and girlfriends and pan. My daughter has a friend, she's pansexual. She's 10 years old. And this is what I mean. I want my daughter to be as innocent as possible. Kind of like her mommy was. How her mommy was raised. But it's more difficult to do that these days. We have to fight social media and everything else. So, that's just my thing. I think we should at least focus on that. Let's emphasize marriage again. Mom and dad in the home, eating together at the dining room table or wherever table together, communicating, knowing where your kids are at. I see it every day after school, kids coming out of the high schools and they're just wild, running. You know how many times I've seen a kid almost get hit by a car after school? Eventually it's going to happen. And then the parents going to be mad at who? The driver of the car, the city for not having whatever they believe should have been there to prevent it. Everything but the fact that you should have known where your kid was at. And you have to figure out a way. And I know parents work. We all work. I work 7 days a week. My wife works 7 days a week. So we understand it, but you have to make a plan. Your kids are the most important thing, and you have to know where they're at. Have a plan for them to go straight home, because after school, that's when there's a lot of things going down. They might be going to a boy's house, and you don't know what's going to happen there. Engaging in sex, and then next you know, you have a baby on the way, right? And I've seen that a lot. And maybe that's just where I come from, but I've seen that a lot. And so we have to emphasize uh, waiting, waiting till you're married. Find the right guy. Tell girls this. We have to tell girls this. And guys too. Respect the women. Open their doors. Men, teach your son this. I teach my son to open doors, hold doors for women. Let them first, ladies first. You know, we have to bring that back into how we raise our kids and into our society, because slowly but surely, like, we're getting away from that, and we're getting into a wild society, man. Very wild. And now we're debating on things like abortion and stuff. You know, again, I have my opinions and I know people have theirs. I want to talk about um switching gears here, businesses that and business owners that get preferred treatment, preferential treatment. I'm sorry, it's hard to say the word. Some business individuals I hear who have supported candidates that are currently elected have received perks such as city jobs. They also have business steered in their direction, steered toward their business. I hear one individual who was a big time supporter of the Democratic Party and many of the candidates that ran last year received a city job at the sanitation department. You can see him driving one of the garbage trucks. And I said, that's perfect if you own a business. Sanitation guys are out by 11 o'clock. They're done early. I had a neighbor, he worked for the city. He'd be out of his apartment by 5. He'd be coming back by 9 as I'm coming out and going to work. So they would give you a lot of time to run your business. So I would imagine this individual hops on the truck and he drives. He just got the job. Isn't there like, seniority of you drives? I don't know. But he's a driver now. And I would imagine he gets done early and he rushes off to make sandwiches over at his deli. I also hear that the city council orders sandwiches just before meetings using taxpayer money from this individual's business as well. And I know he's a huge supporter because I've seen him at events supporting. In fact, when I first saw him, I thought he was a bodyguard. I did. He was a big guy. Thought he was a bodyguard. He was standing by the door to the room that Zahi Jeris was holed up in with his son Frankie on election night, hiding out. Eventually, I would see Frankie pop out, but not Zahi. And the guy was standing by the door. I thought he was the bodyguard. That's why he stood out to me. And I asked, who's that guy? He's a bodyguard. And I asked people, and eventually I found out who the individual was. He's a business owner supporting the party. And as a result, he got a city job. You can see him driving a garbage truck throughout the week just before heading off to make his deli. The deli with the beautiful vista of oh no, never mind. It's not near the Hudson River, no view there. But I also hear that they order from his deli to give him business for every city council meeting. Just before the meeting, they have sandwiches on the taxpayer dime. Other businesses, however, get harassed. Other businesses get trouble or have trouble getting permits. Other businesses get fines and violations. Why? Well, when you don't support certain individuals, that's what happens. Elected officials had no problem coming into my business for a Halloween party while still trying to get permits when I was supporting, or they perceived me to be supporting them. Not that I was not, but I wasn't either. I was indifferent. So I just want to put that out there. Michael Sussman might like to know that, because we may have to pick up where they left off on a class action lawsuit. I hear individuals were going to sue the city of Yonkers using Mike Sussman as their attorney in a class action lawsuit for discriminatory hiring practices here in the city of Yonkers. Individuals who have applied years ago are still waiting, while individuals like this business owner gets a job as soon as the elections are over. Many individuals within DPW, sanitation department, passed up for promotion or various positions that paid more for other individuals who were getting a favor done to them or having a favor returned to them. And there are a lot of disgruntled individuals. And I hear there were a group who were going to sue. Somehow it was quashed. I wonder why. So be easy before I have to start another lawsuit with Mike Sussman. If my business suffers. I want to read some comments here. I thought they were interesting. This is from the robbery. Right? From the robbery that happened, to smash and grab in Getty Square. And this gentleman, or I just assume it's a man, but it could be a woman. It's they commented, we had the big photo op for the groundbreaking of Hudson Piers, and I showed that was where Majority Leader Tasha Diaz was rocking the poom poom shorts. And again, I was not the only one that noticed. Again, we had the big photo op for the groundbreaking of Hudson Piers, and this week, just maybe 10 or 15 minutes away from there, smash and grab taking place. Is actually not that long. It's actually not 10, 15 minutes away, person. It's probably about 3 to 5 minutes away, to be exact. 3 to 5 minutes away from where the smash and grab happened. Right in Getty Square. Yes, 28 South Broadway is a part of Getty Square. Thank you for telling me. Why is this happening? Because people are desperate. Easy answer, not because of the police. They are doing one hell of a job. God bless them. The politicians, the likes of Senator Andrea Stewart Cousins and the rest of the crew in Albany, Jamal, defund the police, Bowman, and the other so-called representatives. I think people are desperate. People are desperate, hard times. Police, I hear, rumors are saying that police are on a slowdown, on a work slowdown, because of defunded police and politicians, seemingly being anti-police. Okay. So maybe crime is down because they're not being arrested. BLM buddies of Mikey GED Spano. Okay. Perps in the incident, blackmail. Somebody wrote a racist thing. And then I had another interesting comment here. And it going back to sanitation. This was interesting. Delivering for you. This is talking about County Legislator James Nolan. Jimmy Nolan was campaigning last year, and he was campaigning without a mask, apparently. Not that I'm against it. I'm just telling you what people were saying. And some people were upset because they feared COVID. And they wondered why he would not have a mask on while campaigning and going to different people's homes. So someone brought it back up and mentioned some other things on the county legislator. So I wanted to talk about that. Where did it go? Nolan is your classic sociopath and narcissist. Think of a poor, less educated. Now, does your okay, here we go. I'm so sorry. When James Nolan was campaigning for the county legislator position, he went to voters' doors unvaccinated and unmasked. He did not inform them he was unvaccinated. What choice did he give them? And he's referring to the people that he was going to their homes. Someone responded to that. Does your Amazon delivery person inform you? Your pizza man, your mailman, stop. You can't cherry pick. You have a choice. Something our children do not. And that's a good point. Don't answer the door or wear a mask when you answer. If you're so worried, why would you answer the door, right? That's a good point. All at the time he was campaigning, every person coming to my door was masked, and I had no contact with them. Nolan came and didn't care about how people felt. I don't think that he doesn't care about how people felt. I just think that he believed in, not wearing a mask, and it just, I support that belief. That's me, my view on that whole stuff, right? If you were vaccinated, why would it matter, right? Good point. Nolan is your classic sociopath and narcissist. Think of a poorer, less educated, and dopier Donald Trump. And I read that because somebody comes back, and I thought it was funny. I will tell you who's dozier than Trump, your mother. Somebody didn't like that comment. A Donald Trump comparison, so original. Nobody's dopier than that feeble-minded Biden. And then someone goes on to say about Nolan, he ain't that dumb. He got himself a DPW job and is done for the day by 11. Suckers. So yeah, so you work sanitation, you get done early, right? And so you get to go run your business if you're a business owner. And there are several business owners, actually a lot of business owners here in the city of Yonkers who have city jobs. One of them is Parks Department Commissioner Steve Sansone. Steve Sansone joined Nader Sage today over at what's the company called? Ron's Trucking. Ron's Trucking is a moving company here in the city of Yonkers. Ron is from my neighborhood. I know Ron well. I've actually always used Ron's Trucking to move because I support local businesses. And today he was giving away toys, right? He does a raffle. He buys a bunch of toys, televisions, different things for people, and he gives them away. And at his giveaway today, Steve Sansone, the Parks Department Commissioner, was there. I wanted to show that, but I don't know where that video went. I don't know where it went, but I do want to say shout out to, actually it's right here. Shout out to Ron. It's an amazing thing that he does there, Ron. So I just want to show that really quick.
Well, a Yonkers business owner is thanking the community that has supported him for more than 20 years in a very special way. News 12's Carol Wilkinson has the latest on the free giveaway that has everybody smiling.
It's Christmas in May at the lot at Ron's Trucking Corporation in Yonkers. The annual giveaway of toys, bikes, furniture, and flat screen TVs
a lot of
is the
stuff.
brainchild of business owner Ron.
So I want to stop it here. The gentleman with the red hat is Ron from Ron's Trucking. Good guy. He's been moving me for, well, he hasn't moved me in a long time, but I mean, I did use him a few times. I like to support local business guys. A good guy from my old neighborhood also. But there you have Nader Sage in the middle there, taking an opportunity for a photo op. Did you donate anything, Nader? Did you pay for any of that, Nader? Did you use any of your, slip and fall accident case money to pay for any of that? No, but you want to show up and jump on it and act as if you did something. And this is what I want people to understand. These guys are full of it. And I've seen this time and time again at these photo ops. It's sickening the way they quickly grab a toy or something or whatever it is that they're giving, then hand it to the person to take the picture. Then that's it. Then they leave. It's literally like they're there for like 10 minutes, if that. And there goes Steve Sansone, Parks Department. He was, I spoke about him not too long ago. He, in regards to the Bernice Breckman Center, where, that was that whole issue over there in District 4, where they were taking forever to open up a senior center. And they tried to play the individuals over there and tell them, oh, we've been working on it for 7 months. That was a bunch of crap because a constituent of District 4 had posted a video or shared a video of the place not too long before the walkthrough at the Bernice Breckman Center a couple of weeks ago, and it was a mess. It was a mess. It was nowhere near that. And I went there not too long ago, and they had a lot of cement work to do. So after, speaking about it on my show, having one of the senior members of the center come on and do an interview with me, and we pushed the issue, they finally jumped in there and started fixing it up. I saw Steve as I walked in. He said hello to me. I didn't know he was a Parks Department guy. I thought he was just some social elite guy that just goes to different events, and hobnobs with other social elites and stuff. And I thought he's like some architect or art direct, whatever, collector guy. But he's the Parks Department commissioner, right? But he also has businesses, right? Just like this guy, Nader Sage. In fact, his assembly office is in his business office. Is this state taxpayers paying for your office, for your business office, Nader, your law firm? This guy right here, I know he cheats the system, and I'm going to tell you how. I happened to meet one of his cousins one time who had suffered storm damage from the hurricane that we recently had here in Yonkers, in Westchester, Hurricane Ida. And there was the whole FEMA money thing, right? And so I came in there and I assessed the damages, and it was bad. I mean, it was bad. It was really nasty too. He had even like nasty sewage stuff in the anyway, but he just didn't want to spend the money. And I'm like, dude, you got to get this cleaned up. I mean, like, this is disgusting, unhealthy, right? He said, no, I'm going to wait. You know, my cousin is Native Sage. You know Native Sage? I said, yeah, I've heard of him. He has my cousin. You know, he's going to get me some FEMA money. I said, yeah. I said, you know, I said, you better apply now because everybody's already, you know, if they haven't applied already, they're applying and, you know, you don't even got the application yet. You say he's going to, oh, no, don't worry about that. He's going to make sure my paperwork gets to the top. He's going to do it for me. He's going to take care. I'm good. But don't worry about it. Thank you, guy. I appreciate it, man. My cousin Nate is going to take care of it. That's exactly true story. True story. Okay, so he's committing fraud. He's getting you to the top because you're his cousin. All these other people who suffered damage and have submitted their application, I should say, from FEMA money, emergency FEMA funds, and you get to skip because your cousin is Native Sage. Isn't that nice? Ain't that nice? That was a great story, guy. Thank you. Good story. I had to tell the story. So these guys are the ones that milk the system. They milk it worse than people who may be on government assistance. They're constantly looked at as people who's milking the system. But what's worse? Individuals who are just greedy or individuals who are truly in need. And maybe they're not doing something, you know, ethical or right or maybe legal by milking, you know, the welfare system, but they in need. These guys got money right here. These guys are rich, greedy individuals. Enough is never enough. They just want more and more and more. And his sights are on the mayoral seat. And Yonkers, we do not want Native Sage ever, 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 ever to be mayor of the city of Yonkers, especially if his own cousin makes him out to be a man who commits fraud. So this cousin told me, right? So we don't need individuals like that in our politics. Steve, I don't know you, guy. You seem like a nice guy. I don't really know you, so I don't know what to say about you. I don't, other than, you know, you don't need to be there, Steve. You know you don't need to be there, Steve. You know you just get money. Steve, are you doing your job, Steve? Can I come to work with you for a week? I want to see what you do. Come on, let me follow you for a week, Steve. Or are you just milking taxpayer money here in the city of Yonkers? You're just taking a check, right? It's easy money, right? It's free money. Easy money, right? Right, Steve? Unbelievable. Shout out to Ron. That's a real man working. He don't milk the system. He built this company from nothing. He's from my own neighborhood. So I love to see people like that win. I do. So shout out to Ron's Trucking. If you ever gonna need moving services, movers or whatever, call Ron's Trucking. They do a great job. Very respectful. They'll come to your home, give you a good number on your estimate. You know, good guy. Check him out. Anyway, folks, that's my podcast. Did I leave it? Oh. Did I leave anything out? Nah, I think I'm good. I think I've mentioned everything. Yeah, that's my podcast for tonight. You know, I was talking to somebody really quick, and maybe, I don't know, somebody can get this from Corazon Pineda. And they asked me, Corazon's been a council person in politics for 11 years. What has she done? What truly impactful resolution, legislation has she passed? Right? What have you passed? What have any of them passed that truly has made an impact to the people? I couldn't answer that question because I didn't know. I really didn't know. And I just want you guys to think about that. I'm going to leave you with that. What have they done to improve the city for the people of the city, to make the city better in the entire time they've been in office? Time for change. I'm Freddie Vasquez. This is Basement Politics. It's time for change. It's time for change. You see guys like Steve Sanson and other individuals that are just getting appointed to certain positions, the Samborellis, guys like that. It's all about a friends network. They're being put into these positions not because they're the best person for that position, not because they're going to do an amazing job for the people of the city of Yonkers, for the taxpayers who pay their salary. Just like the individual who recently got hired by the sanitation department and now drives a garbage truck for a couple hours before heading off to his deli to make sandwiches for the rest of the day. It's all about what you can do for the individuals that have the power to get you a city job with no questions asked. So we have to change that. There's a lot of individuals out there that want a city job, that would love to have a city job, that have applied and have not been called. And unless we change who our elected officials are, it's going to stay that way. So if any of you ever wanted a chance at a city job, we have to vote different. We have to vote for new people. People who are going to go in there and make sure that it's fair, whether it's the Yonkers Police Department, the Yonkers Fire Department, DPW, Parks Department, whatever city department. The person that will get my vote is the individual that says, I'm going to go in there and I'm going to review all the applications that have been submitted. And individuals who should have been hired a long time ago and have not been hired are going to get hired. And individuals that are suspect in their hiring, if you got hired, your application was here for a couple months and you hired already, we're going to review those. I would review those. That person has to review those. That's what I want to see in the next elected officials, people that are going to start to clean things up and make it fair for everyone and put the people first and move forward with the progress that we've been making, but with the people in mind first. Because our elected officials now do not operate in that manner. And nothing proves that more than the fact that they've yet to introduce a housing ordinance. And they did that simply to protect the interests of the developers, knowing that there's a housing crisis. Oh, by the way, there's a new affordable housing going up. I do want to announce that. On School Street. Want to live on School Street? Affordable housing is only for ghetto. It's only for the ghetto. Affordable housing is only for the ghetto, not for the waterfront. Remember that. Remember that. How dare you think you could go live on the water if you require affordable housing? How dare you? St. Joseph's Medical Center is now accepting applications. Affordable rental opportunities available. 10 School Street, Yonkers, New York. They have studio 1 and 2 bedroom apartments available. So I would imagine these are for individuals who are not married, don't have kids, or single mothers. Or are they going to be for young professionals, maybe those working for Lionsgate, that will eventually move into the city of Yonkers once you clear out the area and School Street no longer looks like School Street, the home of the brave. And it's going to look like School Street, Scarsdale, New York. That's what's going to happen. It's only a matter of time before it's going to be completely different. But I just thought that was interesting. Affordable rental opportunities available, studio 1 and 2 bedroom apartments on School Street. I don't know. Community center with exercise room, library, computer room, and community room, on-site laundry, facilities, convenient location. I don't know. When I think like affordable, I think of like, I guess you could be a single individual. I think of families. I don't know why. I think of at least 4 people. But this isn't for families who require affordable housing because it's only up to 2 bedrooms. I don't know. Something's funny about that. I don't know. Just something suspect about that. That's why I wanted to show it. Something suspect. Anyway, folks, I'm Freddie Vasquez. Have a good night. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. I'm out of here. Peace out. I think tomorrow's going to be nice, actually. So enjoy the day.
Wins. Freddie wins.
Oh, by the way, I do want to announce something else. Don't forget the Dare to Share contest. Earn yourself, or win yourself, I should say, $100. Each month I will give away $100 cash or maybe a check, $100 to the person who shares the most podcasts within the 30-day period. Again, win $100. Every month, you can win it as many times as possible. You could be the winner every month if you are the one that shares the most. You can make $1,200 this year, right? All you have to do is share the podcast. Basement Politics, Unfiltered, share the podcast. Not post, but the podcast, the show, the episode. Share those. And you can win yourself $100 every month. That's the contest I'm doing. Dare to share. So win yourself some money. If I'd be sharing, be the guy that's going to get it every month. Make me a quick extra $1,200. So there you go. And also, I'm looking for information, stories, video, of incidences or whatever you have, audio, anything you think that I may be interested in, information you think is important that I may be interested in, right? Video of something, audio of something that I may be interested in, send it to me at politicwithfred@gmail.com. If I use what you send me in a podcast, you will get $250. So again, if you have any information you think that's important about whatever, about city, elected officials, road conditions, whatever. If you think it's important or you think it's something I may find interesting, and I do, and I create a podcast using your information, you will get paid $250. Actually, $250 to $500, depending on the story. So again, if you have information, something that you think is news, something that you think would be a good story that I may find interesting, send it over to politicwithfred@gmail.com. If I use it, you can make $250 to $500, depending on the information on the story. And you'll know I'll use it because I'll do a podcast on it. And if you see the podcast, which I would probably let you know beforehand, of course, but you can make $250 to $500. All right? So make some money with Fred. Make some money with Freddie Vasquez at Basement Politics. Again, if you have no information, but you want to make some money, all you have to do is share the podcast. Be the one to share the most within the next 30 days. You will win $100 from Basement Politics and Freddie Vasquez. Thank you, folks. Have a great Saturday. I'm out of here.
Freddie wins. Fatality.
I am Freddie Vasquez. This is Basement Politics. I am here to present you information unbiased, untainted, and unfiltered. I appreciate the support. Please send me information. Make some money. Share the podcast. Make some money. I'm Freddie Vasquez, asking you guys to help me by sending me all the information, anything you think is important, audio, video, at politicwithfred@gmail.com. Politicwithfred@gmail.com. You could be the guy or woman that earns $250 or $500, or maybe $100 if you share the episodes. Again, share the episodes. The possible potential of it being overturned was leaked out. These politicians will also jump on anything to get elected. Absolutely. They need a platform, right? I got that, I started to think about that, I should say, when I saw a certain individual, looks like he's going to be running for our office here in Westchester, maybe state office. And he's jumping all over, but didn't make any sense. God. New York, for one, is not going to ban abortion. No way. New York is not going to ban abortion. Okay, so no one in New York who supports abortion has anything to worry about. This is for people in Texas and Oklahoma, the Bible Belt, places like that, the Midwest, where they're very conservative, very, very conservative. So please, okay, you guys need to jump on encouraging women, young girls, I should say, to wait. That's what we need to do. Abstinence. Practice abstinence. Abstinence, that was... Anyway, I'm out of here. Is that how you say it?
Fatality. Freddy wins. Fatality.